TFMAA family, Master Church Tech here. Happy July! We are on to the second half of 2025. I wanted to go through the calendar with you guys. You get this in your email, posted all over the academies. Yes, there's sometimes some minor updates if you have like an ad hoc event, or sometimes at the last minute something does have to change, but for the most part, calendar is pretty set in stone once we get to that month. So, most important for this week, we are closed Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at both academies for our mini summer vacation. Please have fun. Please stay safe. With that being said, the little extra that's not on the calendar but was mentioned in the emails and sent out, we sent out our hurricane makeups, which is the same thing we do over the holidays. It allows all of our students to get 1 class credit per day of training. For my higher belts, it also gives you a secondary option where you can get a second class credit for each day. So even if you don't typically train Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can fill out this form, turn it back in for each of those 3 days. So my advanced belts and black belts can get 6 class credits. Everybody else can get 3. Even those aren't your training days. It's an honor system. Can you lie about it 100%? You'll know. Right? I'm going to believe you if you turned it in, you actually did your hour of work and your hour of training, but you can make it fun, especially for my families that train together. Now, on to week 2. When we come back next week, second Friday is almost always black belt candidacy, so no leadership training class here at Mandarin that second Friday. No, we're kind of cutting, we're now 2 this month. And then the second Saturday is always Storm and SWAT class here at Mandarin. So if you're a Storm member or a SWAT member, remember, these are my leadership team guys that are on the floor that you see. You're required to be at one of those classes at least once per testing cycle. So if you missed May's and you missed June's, you got to be here this Saturday. We do allow a Zoom option. I understand it's summer. If you're out of town and can't make it, it is not because you want to sit in bed while you're there. That same Saturday, July 12th, we have our forms clinic for advanced belts, brown belts and higher. We do this twice a year, January and July-ish. So brown belts and higher, y'all can send the link for that. On to week 3, our second Monday, as weird as that sounds, we do our ladies class here. So again, both academies. You can come up here. Master Angela leads an awesome ladies class. I run a multiple opponent sparring class that week. It's a sparring week. So any blue belts or higher, I teach you how to fight 2 or more people. We also do some like defensive thing and kind of protect people. I have my Arnis instructor coming in. It's a lot of Mandarin specific things where we can host the big events here. Datsu Tim is teaching 3 Arnis classes on the 17th. And then we have our elite sparring class the 3rd Saturday here after classes. That's our once a month heavy duty working out. So again, if you're an advanced belt or higher, you can attend that. If you're an intermediate level, so green belt teen or adult, you can also attend that class. Then we move on to week 4. Master Nicholas is hosting SMAC Camp down in Silverleaf. Really important is the more heads up we have on who's doing it, the better the camp is going to be. So if you're planning to do SMAC Camp, please sign up for that. It is black belt assessments that week for our black belts. We have a private lesson night that evening. This is kind of a little bit of catch up for those of you who are in town. And then we have our awesome instructor summit. So as a reminder how we do our instructor summit, this is where I train the instructors. I want to teach all of y'all next testing cycle. So the instructors all come to Mandarin. Mandarin has a modified schedule that day. Now we start at 8, but we have a 9 to 10 o'clock class only for every single student that wants to attend. It's one of the few times we get all of our instructors on the floor teaching, not running an event. It's pretty cool. Then you guys go home and I take them for another 4 hours and we go through all the curriculum so we can deliver it as best as possible starting in August. Silverleaf will have a normal schedule that day, and we use it as a training day for up and coming instructors, our SWAT teams, typically the drill leaders. They all get to go out and collectively teach the classes down there. So kind of a fun day for that. And then the last week of July is promotion week, and you'll get plenty of emails and information on that. When we start getting that, please remember, know your testing times. July 30th is the last day to earn stripes. You can't come in that Thursday when we have our white belt testing and we're setting up and pretty much have all the I's dotted and T's crossed for Saturday. So July 30th, that's the last day you can earn anything besides attendance. July Student Challenge. Keep in mind we have a black belt version and a color belt version. So I'm going to start with the color belt version. You're going to do something. The black belts actually get to do quite a bit. Your student challenge, keep in mind the challenge, is to create a thesis form and demonstrate it for an instructor. Now, a thesis form is taking any of your normal forms except your highest one, so your main testing forms. As an example, I'm a blue-white, Dolphin 4 is my new form, don't mess with it. And you get to modify it to yourself. So I'm not just making up a random form for this one. You take things, I as the instructor should still be able to tell, oh, you're doing Dolphin 2, you just modified it. Now to earn your purple stripe, not only do you have to make a thesis form, it needs to be commensurate and challenging for who you are as a martial artist. So I'm going to look at a 9-year-old yellow white who's been here for less than 6 months and go, hey, as long as we're not second guessing ourselves, you replace the punches with an elbow, that was pretty cool. If I'm looking at a transition red belt who's on a leadership team and they do basic form 1 and just had a front kick in the middle, but I'm probably going to say that wasn't challenging enough. So keep in mind there may be a little bit of, hey, go back, try this again. So again, is it challenging? Number 2, are you not second guessing yourself? So no matter what level we look at, so if I'm modifying a little bit, I shouldn't sit here going, I know when it's not practiced and coming on the spot. So it's a quick example. Again, I should still be able to tell what the form looks like. So we'll take a basic form. I'm going to take basic form 1. I might just replace the strike with something else, right? It's just a nice basic thing. Maybe I choose to add a kick in there as well. So I should be looking at, oh, you're doing a basic form, you modified it. Maybe I'm doing dolphin force. Instead of going high block punch, cat stance, I'm going to come through and I'm going to come here, right? Here's a bit of a back spin kick. I'm going to make a couple adjustments and then come back through. And I come through here, blast, tornado, back pivot, come through, come back, and you can kind of tell, hey, it's still dolphin 4, master Tursack style. So that's your challenge. Black belts. You have to make a demo and put it to music. So you can make up a form, you can do something cool, and to answer a couple questions for both groups, if you want to do a 2-person or a group form or a group demo, 100% you're judged collectively. So it needs to look cool. Put it to music. For my black belts, you have 2 options. Make it, show us at the academy if there's time. So black belt open mat, or after any black belt class is a great option, or you can take the video and post it in the black belt band group, and if you get enough positive thumbs up, it counts for your student challenge. Have fun, enjoy the month with us. July frequently asked question. We have add-on programs on top of our standard curriculum. They are in no way, shape, or form required, but they are definitely something, especially as you're as a martial artist who's invested in what you're doing, we try to give you as much skills as possible. So right now we have 3 add-on programs. 2 are available at both academies. One's only here at Mandarin. The first one is our leadership training program, which I would recommend every one of our kids at a minimum get involved in. So there's the first level of that is once you become a deputy green belt, you can start attending the leadership training class at your academy or the other academy if it's more convenient for you, whether you want to help out or are able to help out in classes or not. So at Mandarin, as of right now, they are on Fridays from 6:45 to 7:45, unless the calendar says XLTC, like next Friday for candidacy. They are held in Silverleaf, I believe, don't quote me perfectly, 5:30. Yeah, about 5:30 to 6:15, somewhere in that scope of things. My Silverleaf team, you gotta check with the Silverleaf instructors for down there on that one. You can attend either one. If you're a Mandarin student and you're like, the Silverleaf Thursday one's more convenient, go to it. We teach you, number 1, how to interact with people on the mat, which translates directly to anything else. Group projects, your first job, sibling interaction. We do public speaking skills. We teach you how to be a good coach when you're in here, which again, all those skills translate to everything else. Why it's so important. I tell all my students this, you may never use your martial arts, but you will be in a leadership position. You will be in a position to communicate with people, and you will be in a position where you're faced with a challenge. You need to kind of, have that critical thinking in the moment with people and that pressure. We work on those things. Then you can choose to step on the mats if you've done enough leadership training classes and you want to, and your T&T coordinator says, hey, you're handling the role playing, we think we're ready for you to take that step. If we're both congruent on that, then you can start stepping into the mats and working through a leadership training program. Leadership training is free. The only time you pay anything in there is if you choose to step on the mat when you start doing level tests. We do charge for those. So leadership training class, because I feel that it's such an important integral skill, free. Second one at both academies is our jiu-jitsu program. It's not a full-fledged jiu-jitsu. You're not going to go win a tournament. We're teaching you what we do in classes, that basic amount of trap and roll, get on your feet, some basic sweeps. If you want to know a little bit more what to do if somebody gets on top of you, it's self-defense focused, kind of a combative jiu-jitsu. We offer that twice a week at Mandarin, twice a week at Silverleaf. It's $45 extra a month. And there's been some confusion on when you can start jiu-jitsu and our knees. And here's what I will tell you guys. It's changing over time because as we get more and more people able to teach it, we can do more. If you're an adult, you can start any of those 2 add-on programs whenever you want. You know your own bandwidth. If you're a teenager, You can also technically start anytime. We recommend after you've been with us for a year. So again, you have your foundation in Tong Sudo, and you can add the bandwidth into it for another, because it's its own curriculum, its own belt system, its own program. With that, and for kids, you do have to be a blue-white as of right now to join those programs if you're under the age of 12, because again, we know from history right now, trying to handle too many programs at one time is overwhelming. And that leads to the third one, which is our niche, which is Filipino martial arts stick work. That is only available at Mandarin. We have 2 classes here, and again, it's $45 extra a month. You have to get the equipment for that. It's its own program, and you can get your black belt, or hopefully next year we'll have our first set of black belts under myself and Master Nicholas. But those are the 3 extra training things that we have. If you're someone like me, where this is your main activity, I don't do other sports or other clubs like I did in middle school. I didn't do this in middle school and high school. These were my extracurriculars. I did my standard classes. I joined leadership, and I was like, oh, we have a jiu-jitsu program, let's do it. Oh, we have a Krav program, I want to do Krav. Oh, we have a demo program. These were my extracurriculars. So if this is your main activity or your kids' main activities, take advantage of the extra things that we offer. It gets them here more often. And again, if they're here, you know where they're at, especially with those teenagers, right? For middle school and high school, if they're here 4 or 5 nights a week, by choice, you know who they're around, you know the environment that they're in, you know they're making right decisions. Take advantage of the programs that we have. Behind the scenes, I went through this back in January, but it's a question that comes up all the time. The way our Student of the Month process works. Some of you may have gotten those Student of the Month nomination pieces of paper. So anytime during the day, one of our coaches or one of our instructors sees a student meeting one of the criteria we have for Student of the Month, and I'll go through that in a second. At the end of the night, they'll write a nomination form that we then log in at the front desk on this giant spreadsheet, and we, especially as being a parent, like to give it back to you guys so you can kind of see what nice things are written about your students, because sometimes we have kids that you would not think, like, man, it was nice to get a positive note about my child from an activity versus what I typically get. So anytime we have something good, once we log it, we get it back to you guys. And then at the end of the month, we compile and we break it down. We have a Dino or Tiger from Mandarin. We have what we call a youth, so anyone between the age of 8 and 12 at Mandarin, and then teens and adults at Mandarin. And then we have Tigers and Tong Sudo for Silverleaf. And we break them into those groups, and anybody who was nominated specifically that month or has accumulated 5 or more nominations over the last year gets put into a poll that we bring our entire staff and instructor leadership team, because some of our instructors are actually volunteer instructors, and they vote in each of the categories. They're usually given 2 or 3 votes. Sometimes it's kind of hard, especially when you have a list of like 20 to 30 students in there, right? And I give them about 48 hours to do that voting at the end of the month. And then I have my list. I look at the top 10, and from there, I will double check and make sure that student make their 8 or more classes. I'll accept 6 on a holiday like December or November the previous month. If the first person didn't, I go to number 2. Did they make their classes? And then I do a quick double check with the main instructors. Do we have any behavior issues in the last couple weeks from the student that would kind of disqualify them from that? I don't go back like months and months. In the last 2 weeks, I want to make sure someone who didn't like throw a fit in class got a student of the month right after doing that. We've had some people lose that opportunity from that moment, and then we award it in class. That's kind of our process for that. Just because you get a piece of paper doesn't mean you automatically win Student of the Month. We have 700 students between the 2 academies right now, and we have to pick 5 every month that it comes down to. So it's a pretty long and arduous process because we want to make sure it's done the right way. And the criteria we're looking at, obviously, if a student really stands out in class, that's obvious, like, man, Master Tursak is rocking it. He gets a student like that one. He caught my attention. It was really nice. Like I worked with him on his form. The other thing we will nominate people for is a consistent change or a consistent attitude over time. So sometimes, we have our athletic superstar kids that everybody watches, but sometimes just looking at someone and goes, man, when Master Tursak started, he couldn't sit on a dot for more than 5 seconds. He ran, he scratched, he was a menace on the floor. And he's been with us for 6 months, and while he's not the superstar student, what I have noticed over time is he can stand on the dot, he can stay in line, he keeps his hands to himself, he's focused, he's respectful, right? And I've noticed that, like, I no longer notice him the wrong way in class. I'm very happy with his progress. So they might write a Student of the Month nomination for that major success. Another one is if they see something outside of the academy, like, hey, I was driving through the neighborhood that we happen to live in with a couple of students. I saw this one student was picking up garbage on the side. They didn't notice me. They might write a nomination for that. Or hey, this as a middle schooler, or sorry, as a high schooler, I volunteer in elementary school, and I noticed a couple of the students say afterwards to help out a teacher cleaning. Like, we've had people nominate for being awesome martial artists and community contribution members there as well, right? And then the last one is if somebody, generally in a coaching session, completely blows the DC out of the water. Like, hey, I know a Master Torsak typically trains right here, right? And we're trying to get him here, and over the last 2 weeks, I haven't gotten to work with him, and he came back and he was just boom, way above the expectations I had for him. That's usually a Student of the Month nomination. Like, hey, I was really happy with the effort and progress you made in those 2 weeks between going from here, and I was trying to get you here, and you brought it to here on your own. Those are typically the 4 ways we get a nomination for students on that end.